Well. Finally down to the final two factions, and arguably the two factions that caused the most amount of drama and discourse that has ever come to the game. Now, some people might be asking, why are you combining them instead of making two separate videos? It's kind of simple. If the Outlanders faction had their own video, no hero on that list would realistically go past B tier.
Check you!
So I'd rather have a video with more spread out rankings, and I want the video to be obviously longer than 2 whole minutes, or longer than I last in bed. I do apologize for the wait on this video. I've been on a bender where I'm just trying to enjoy other games at the moment, and take it from me, I love this game to death and I will always back it, but it's always healthy to go play something else from time to time to refresh your mentals. To give a quick rundown on how the entire video is supposed to work, I'll be judging heroes off of the 4 fun factors I totally made up and are completely biased to. If you heard this, already skipped this timestamp. If not, then stay through it. First and most important one is the hero fun to play as, and how fun are they to play against? The second factor is, are the feats of the hero fun to play around with or have any synergy with each other and the character? Third, is the customization of the hero worth the inevitable grind to rep 8 and other reps aside? And fourth, are the executions good and have a wide variety, or can they not please people at all? Sadly, as I said, this is the last tier list I can do because every other faction before this has been finished. So while I sit there and ponder for new video ideas, a sub would really help me out. I try very hard to bring unique and special content to the game, and it's getting harder and harder as the time goes by. Starting off strong with Tiandi. Now, this hero has had a life that's been turned completely upside down since life to rework. Tiandi is one of the only heroes in the game that I found a perfect balance between constant aggression and not being blatantly overpowered at the same time. See, the trade-off to him attacking like he's doing his best Raiden impression from MGR is that he's really doing a spot-on job with his impression. If you're replaying the Armstrong fight, because everything you do does like no fucking damage. While he is fast and agile, he just can't kill opponents as fast as you really like. It's like a death by 1,000 cuts, and depending on who you ask, this makes or breaks the hero for them. I myself do not mind how long the fights can take as Tiandi, because if he did any more damage than he already does, he would honestly be a miserable experience to go up against. Tiandi, played by a really good player, can feel untouchable, especially with the crushing counter dodge lights. Using the CC property on these light attacks can really just counter any counter attack your opponent tries to do, but try to use these on their own to dodge an attack, and well, you're gonna be left surprised. It's a weird balance, but it has to exist this way, or else Tiandi would be the next pirate fiasco, and honestly, we don't need that again. Tiandi's feats only specify why his damage should stay in the lower areas instead of higher. His unique feats are pretty cool. I for one started to find great times playing with the unique first and second feat. Upon reaching the health threshold of 50, an aura will orbit around Tiandi and give anyone in that radius a 25% damage boost for 5 seconds. 0 pulses as long as you are under the 50 HP. This works decently well in tandem with his second feat Sacrifice. This one's funny to me. Upon activation, sacrifice 49 HP and heal 30 back over 24 seconds. It also cleanses anyone around you from bleed, fire, and grants anyone around you a refresh of stamina. Like, the weird numbers are just concerning. 49 instead of 50 and 24 instead of 20. Even then, tying this with the 2 most overpowered feats being a Life Leech and Indomitable hand in hand. The ultimate sustain build, and probably one of the main factors of why Tiandi's damage is so low, seeing as Life Leech benefits is tied to 30% damage done to opponents. It would be insane if Tiandi had heavies higher than 27. So you have a feat combination that sacrifices health to give your team benefits, while also having other options to heal just in case, while also having the emergency button that is Indomitable to give extra survivability. Now, do not get me wrong, living as long as you can in anti-ganks because of these feats is real fun, but trying to kill a good Tiandi with these feats is like trying to kill a cockroach. It's just not fucking possible. Tiandi's fashion is definitely an acquired taste. I myself have tried multiple different times to make something work, only from some piece of armor to just not click the way I wanted. Something about the clothing beneath the armor just never looked fully well with what you're going for, and some armor sets just do not allow customization at all, albeit very limiting. Overall, the rep grind is tough, but at least making it to rep 6 has some decent options over the Lin on the entire list. Tiandi's executions, on the other hand, make me happy for the sole reason that most of them have some sort of gameplay mechanic tied in the animations. In some, he visibly feints an attack to bait out a block or parry. Others, he will parry or deflect incoming attacks, or flat out make fun of people's reaction time by straight up them missing a parry and then compensating for it later. Tiandi has a soft spot in my placement just because I find him decently balanced. A good player can push his character into points of it feeling unbalanced, but a good player can take any hero and make it feel like that. Overall, I think Tiandi deserves his A tier spot in my list. This big, fat, old man has been the talk of the Wulin basically since launch. Somehow, JJ has never been in a state where majority have been content with him. On launch, he was absolutely terrible. Then he was buffed and people hated that. Then he was nerfed again and people hated that. Now he's just kind of strong at his own level, but nobody will ever be happy about anything in this game, I've learned. Playing JJ is normally a fun time, which stronger heroes will always have more of a fun time because you're allowed to get away with way more things than not. Oh, did you overextend and put yourself out of stamina? Sifu stance. Did you overextend and they dodge attacked you? Sifu stance. Did you just make a bad read? You get it. The aesthetic of the fat old man being one of the most nimble heroes has definitely brought people to main JJ from that point alone. Playing against a good JJ player can just suck balls. There's always a tell with JJ players, and that's the inability to punish their Sifu stance. If you somehow find yourself bouncing off at JJ every time you attempt to punish it, you're going to have such a miserable time fighting them. Not to mention trying to fight him in revenge. One overstep and he's choking your chicken until your revenge is fully stalled out. Something about this hero that hits hard like he does, also having major survivability of heavy perks and feats like tough as nails and phalanx. Killing a JJ is normally just a chore you never want to do but will eventually become inevitable. JJ's feats embody the team guy mentality, buffing teammates' damage, regenerating their stamina, healing anybody near him, and giving everybody on the map a 100 HP shield. Sure, you can be really selfish with your feats, but I find buffing people in my team fight and winning them because of my buffs is way more enjoyable than buffing myself. JJ's fashion is so damn hard to do anything with until you're rep 8. He's got such limited options that are literally almost full copy-paste of each other, and it just kinda sucks. The fact that to have any semblance of a unique looking JJ requires a minimum of rep 7 is daunting and makes me not want to play him as much. The hero's fashion is arguably as important as their moveset. If there is nothing of value in the rep 1 to 5 slots, players will feel less inclined to get to the rep 7 and 8 slots. But I guess once you get to rep 7 you get the cowboy hat, so maybe the grind was actually kind of worth it. JJ's executions are very half and half. Whenever I go looking for executions to buy, some of the stuff just feels very samey. But obviously he's got some really good ones, only strengthened by his sense of humor, and again, because he's a fat old man that just kicked your ass. In my opinion, JJ still deserves a solid B tier. Sure, some people might find issues with this, but need I remind you that the Outlanders faction still exists in this video. Anyone who's seen my videos knows that I do like Shaolin. I also really dislike Shaolin, so I feel like my mind is so split with this hero. He's a guilty pleasure hero, as I've always said. Really fun to play as, but ultimately this hero is doing a decent amount of heavy lifting with how versatile and how effective his kit is. Shaolin has flow to him, but once you start it, it feels like you actually cannot be stopped. Even anti-ganking with this hero feels rewarding, with massive hitboxes, key stance defensive uses, and the decent amount of skill used to do properly. But every positive I just listed is why I really dislike playing against good Shaolin players. While I can barely keep up, I have to watch my teammates' lack of understanding of don't stand behind me when I'm ganking a Shaolin. This hero makes or breaks games with his existence, and while he was rebalanced, I still think he's going to be a strong pick for even more years to come. Shaolin's feats though are definitely unique to himself. I wouldn't say anything is too strong for his own good in his feat selection apart from maybe blink. If you don't dodge attack the blink the second you see it, it can feel impossible to actually dodge properly. It's basically a put me in frame advantage with no downsides move. Teleporting to a teammate to save his ass before he dies is great because ultimately this feat doesn't guarantee anything like Fire Flask or bombs could, but gives you something just as important, and that's free rotations. Shaolin's fashion is kind of the same as JJ at the lower reps. You don't really have anything to work with. Rep 46 you might get one decent option, but that does not match with anything else in the rep category. But the rep 8 armor is all that matters with him. Again, for me, getting a hero to rep 1, 3, or 5, I always like to make new fashion for that new rep. But I just wasted 5k steel, my best option was this. Shaolin's executions are definitely an acquired taste. For me, it's tough to like some of these because they're just too goofy at times. I'm assuming a Shaolin monk would have more restraint, but the whole monkey impersonations just don't really do it for me. Instead of brutality and executing people, he's just kind of playing around with them in most of his executions. If you like silly ones, then Shaolin's just for you, but for me, I'm not about it. Shaolin, again, while very fun to play as, can make bad players actually decent trouble because of how easy the character is to play with easy to use mix-ups. Again, I don't think this character deserves D tier, but C tier is easily where I'd put him. Now, Nuxia is probably going to sting for some people. You know, all 15 dedicated Nuxia mains. Nuxia mains will charge through and debate any argument saying that she's actually really fun to play as. She's an acquired taste. If that taste is getting externaled all game by or your teammates ruining every single fucking trap you've thrown, then yeah, coffin ball torture is really fun. The truth is that even Nuxia mains know is that majority of Nuxia games will not be fun. No matter how good you are, there's always some hero that the other team will have that trumps the shit out of you. There's always some moron you have on your team that cannot keep his light attacks in his pants whenever you go for your traps. Nuxia in a 1v1 scenario can be the only time you're truly having fun because on a realistic aspect, that's what the hero was born to do. push people's shit in a 1v1, then get your shit pushed in while being outnumbered. Fighting a Nuxia can feel frustrating, but I never say it's that hard. Yes, the mid-chain lights are really fast, and even I cannot react to them, but once a light spammer, always a light spammer. Hit me with 3 neutral lights, shame on me. Try it a second time, shame on you. Nuxia's feats are arguably some of the worst in the entire faction. You got caltrops that for some reason insta-give minions the second they step on it, and that first feat that gives you extra damage in a 1v1 scenario. And while this feat is actually really useless in Dominion, it's actually got a great use in Deathmatch, if you can find a game of Deathmatch that is. Threat of Fate is a joke. Being a hero with the fastest move speed in the entire game, you can just run after them, and any Warmonger main looks at your 4th feat and laughs at you. Yes, I know you can use infection through walls and stuff, but I'd still rather have a Warmonger have the chance to corrupt someone on 1st feat of the game over guaranteed corruption on the 4th. And let's be real, Corruption Blast is basically guaranteed and multi-target. Nuxia's fashion, like all Lin, is just lackluster until you get to Rep 7. I've been running the same set since the Test Your Metal came out, and that's literally just an all-black variant of an existing armor set. And the funniest part is that's the best armor set I still have at this rep. I've been trying to get anyone to rep 7 and 8 as their max, but Nuxia's grind in Dominion is like pulling hair off my balls. I don't understand what happened. Like, I know as a company you want to put the juicy stuff at the end of the character, but this shit reminds me of CS2, where cases are 90% garbage and the only things you get are the 10% that's actually worth it. Don't get me wrong, Nuxia's fashion is, I think, worth it for the grind, but again, you need to have balls of steel to go through it. Her executions are quite unique, seeing as hook swords are a really cool weapon, and I'm glad the executions show off the peak of what it would look like using them in combination with each other. There's always something going on in her exes that keeps it fresh, and you can never really look at 2 of them and say that they were similar. Overall, the feeling of playing Nuxia is nice when she works in your favor, and it can feel good to overpower someone with pure skill, but the lows of Nuxia, they're low. I myself never go negative in games, but with Nuxia, it's almost certainty that I might. Zhanhu is a hero I would like to call severely underrated in today's game. He's got a well-balanced kit that doesn't have much on the surface, but majority of his kit is awfully effective. He's one of the only heroes in the game with unblockable lights if we don't count Kensu's 4th feat enabled, but that's kind of it for his gimmick. The only other gimmick I can think of is his dodge attacks. Coming from left or right side, this can be really used well against below average players and can actually be used for BM offensive tools, but at the same time, fully guard breakable around the 200 to 300 MS range of the starting animation. Dodge attacks! Fighting a Zhanhu really depends on the player. Some are just plain terrible and bank on fainting every single heavy unblockable into guard break, like they're a fresh Shaman main doing the same with her unblockable, which is painfully easy to counter with a quick guard break interrupt or even light interrupting because it's too slow. Then you have the ones that are truly hard to predict, using their dodge forward heavy to feint, catch you panicking on their forward dodge animation. The ones that fully utilize their dodge cancels to capitalize in teamfights and defensive comebacks. It's hard, but I'll be the first to admit it, it's a fair fight. People often play Zhanhu because they wanted a more balanced or shittier version of Orochi and take pride in playing a worse character, just like Nuxia mains. Zhanhu's feats are supposed to send home this idea of a Pyromancer, Fiery Tusk being a worse kunai until the target is on fire, Lin Rose to set targets on fire, and 3rd feat to deal more damage to burning targets. All synergized, and I mean 4th feat is, yeah, more fire. But I think I speak for every Zhanhu main on the planet saying, why the fuck does he not have Flaming Longbow? Seriously, the feat only Aramusha has, and yet the Firebender character doesn't have it, but has regular Longbow. Huge missed opportunity. Zhanhu's fashion really is not that amazing. I've seen cosplays of Prince Zuko that don't look amazing, but it's the time and effort that they put into making a decent replica and For Honor that makes the cake. After that, it's really just kind of meh. You got the normal stuff and then the white bone spirit enjoyers. Like, you can make good stuff, but the fashion often relies on the helmets, the centerpiece of it all. And, you know, if you have bad helmet choices, then it doesn't matter what you're using because you'll stand out way too much. Zhanhu, unlike the rest of the Wulin, has decent sets going from Rep 3 all the way to Rep 7, so the grind at the end of the day is much easier knowing that you have viable options until you get to that Rep 7. Zhanhu was sadly born at a time where heroes stopped getting new executions with everybody on the same day, and was born in my opinion, the worst meta of the Hero Fest era. Hero Fests are not terrible, especially at the rate that they're coming out nowadays, but nothing beats getting home and watching a Jackal Wolfnart video, rating every single new execution that just came out. So, his options are quite limited, but they're more on the side of, hey look, my sword's big, I cut you down. They aren't terrible or even bad, but it's nothing really stands out of, oh yeah, that's really cool. I think overall the balance of Zhanhu keeps himself out of the low tiers by a wide margin, and since he's one of the only Wulin with usable armor sets from Rep 3 to 7, he has to go in A tier. Yeah, I think we know where this one's going. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Pirate for the entire life she's been in the game has been causing problems, and that's just by the hero's design. Plenty of people do enjoy Pirate for her and don't care about her standing. It's not really their fault that she's never been anything below A tier in a Dominion level. That being said, the pirate hate has been decently justified. One of my good friends is a pirate one-trick, and they talked about how much they really like the hero for what they are. But they understand that Pirate will be nerfed over and over again because the community does not find her fun at all. Pirate reminds me of Zed from League, a champion that has a horrible pick rate and win rate but has insane ban rates because the hero is just that unfun to go up against. Riot Games has nerfed Zed patch after patch because the lower skill to medium bracket really dislike playing against him. I wouldn't say Pirate is in a weak state, but with the way the community acts towards Pirate, I would not doubt another nerf coming soon. Fighting a pirate is majorly an unfun time. There's no blocking pirate openers or any attacks for that matter. You'd be an idiot not to crutch on her opener and mid-chain unblockable. Majority of this community also does not know that the pirate gunshot mid-chain that leads to her unblockable is completely countered by any light attack. But as I said, it's not fun to have to keep that in mind every time she goes into her mid-chain. And yet again, she still has a hyper armor follow-up to counter that counter. Sure, it's really fun to be unkillable and hyper-aggressive in the game, but it comes at a cost of everyone basically disliking you more and more as the game goes on. Pirate's feats only make this point easier to understand. You have her basic assault feats that are majorly strong and comfortable through her mid-chain and gunpowder surprise being unavoidable on reaction. Then you have the unkillable pirate build that makes Pirate a demon in solo queue lobbies because the lack of coordination equals revenge. Pirate plus revenge equals comeback mechanics, and comeback mechanics plus solo queue players equals the pirate wins. It's pretty simple math. Pirate's fashion is what you'd expect out of a pirate. Decent to mid-game fashion with things like her pirate hat and Kate chest pieces, and then the late game almost having the same, but with some added royalty spice, just for the people that want to dress fancy. I find her helmets to be lacking because I don't want to look like a 2017 Sonic Persona with the helmets like this. Pirate being born in the Hero Fest meta is actually one of the only heroes that doesn't struggle with new executions because for some reason Ubisoft gave her 2 in the span of like 2 months. The fastest any hero's ever gotten 2 Hero Fests back to back. Some are really good, especially the last 2 she got, but the others are kind of goofy and are supposed to not be taken seriously for comedic effect. It's really up to you if you want the silly executions over the serious ones. Doesn't really matter sadly because anywhere past D tier on this tier list is somewhere Pirate cannot be for my own sake because I do not want to be digitally executed off the platform for a second time. It's funny how when everyone puts the Outlanders faction on blast for having the most annoying and overpowered heroes in the game, they always seem to forget about Medjay or exclude him when talking about the Outlanders, and honestly it's for good reason. Medjay on launch was kind of underwhelming compared to the absolute dumpster fire that Pirate was, not because he was inherently weak, just because he wasn't amazing. His X form was just kind of bad, tracking was bad, no undodgeable light finisher, and heavies just didn't track. And if you wanted to switch stances, you had to manually swap aka give up any offensive pressure you had. He honestly just sat there swinging hyper armor follow-ups like a moron and got parried all the time because people crushingly target swap hyper armor lights to do everything for them. Nowadays, I'd say Medjay solo carries the word balanced on the Outlanders faction. Sure, after the gank patch notes his staff grab became slightly redundant, but everything else about Medjay is fun. He's had a healthy back and forth where I'd say nothing is really a crutch in his moveset. It's just what you can make correct reads on and punish accordingly. Medjay's feats are quite selfish, buffing himself on kill depending on which weapon stance, debuffing opponents based on the weapon stance, and the third feat often is overshadowed by a second wind because why would you want to heal your team when you could heal yourself instead? Fourth feat is either an I win button or a miss input. I've never really seen a Medjay throw a bomb on purpose, nor have I ever seen it done on purpose. Axe on the other hand is the I'm ending the fight, go fuck yourself button. Medjay's fashion is some of the most limited in the entire game. Do you like a chest piece that doesn't cover the actual full chest or legs at all? No? You're not gonna like 95% of the Medjay fashion. Some stuff I found looks really nice, but I cannot for the life of me wear anything apart from this chest piece or the mummy wrappings, an armor set that you get at the low rep of 2. When you have tier 2 armor beating your tier 5 armor, there's a clear issue. Medjay's swap stance mechanic being seen in his executions I think is great. Watching as he seamlessly pulls apart his weapon when he's dismembering or even beheading you is just flowing like clockwork. Something about switching weapons effortlessly outside of gameplay always made me happy because it shows the creativity of the team in full force. Medjay deserves a spot in A tier, and I was debating putting him in S, but nobody from these two factions really deserves S tier, do they? Afeera is more like a PG version of Pirate and Shinobi, but still hated. But you don't see them in droves being hated on, nor being played as her. She's a very, very strong character. One that still has a neutral bash when they removed everyone else's, and just overall an insane kit with a blue-orange 50-50. A wall splat heavy, and dodge cancels. Playing as her feels like a more balanced version of Shinobi, and it's still fun, but I feel a majority of my fun yet again comes from the misery that I'm bringing to other people. Afeera is one of those characters that just pats you on the back and goes, "It's not your turn yet," while beating the shit out of you. When you're fighting Afeera, it's mainly a pain in the ass. Majority of Afeera players are just hoping that the 50-50 will work on you, and that's rinse repeat until you die. I find heroes that have such a reliable mix of tools unfun to go up against because it's purely just guessing tools against this back and forth, instead of mind games. Honestly, a lot of Afeera players I meet don't even feint their attacks. Afeera feats are the most hated in the entire game. Not even the most effective, but when you're getting hit by a first or third feat, the only thing you ever say out of your mouth is, "You fucking bitch." They feel so personal because the majority of them are all single target feats, and they're 100% used for personal reasons, because when I'm playing Afeera, I only use feats against people who solely piss me off in fights. Afeera's fashion is almost as limited as Medjay's. I've been able to work around with some things, but holy fuck, the lazy alternate version of her armor really killing it for me. Like, seriously, Ubisoft, did you pay anyone to do this? I feel like I could have done this in 3 minutes of Photoshop and the lasso tool. Something about Afeera's executions, though, always kept me happy. The way she gets in your face using all of her grappling specialties in her executions to disable you or get you in any way. The majority is satisfying to look at, and she's got the quick ones for those people who really want a more competitive, quick healing feeling. Overall, with the lack of fun that comes with a hero with a blue-orange mix-up and horrid fashion selections, she deserves C tier. Not entirely D tier because of her uniqueness to the game, but putting her in anywhere higher than C tier feels horribly wrong. For me, Ocelot still gives me PTSD attacks as a Warden player because he was one of the only heroes that could fully counter a Warden dodge bash when they whiffed an attack. And I won't lie, I feel the majority of my hatred still stems from old Ocelot. That being said, I feel like he's in a decent place in terms of balance. Damaging bashes really aren't the most fun mechanic because of how the revenge system works. Seeing as pairing a damaging attack or even just blocking one will gain you more revenge than dodging a damaging bash. And seeing how he's always chaining into it, it can feel like you're stuck in this loop of despair. But it would be criminal to say it's just something Ocelot can do. I like the idea of his hunter stance, but like, why? No hyper armor, really slow. I mean, it's Sense equals Talon, but 10 times worse. And I mean, the whole missed opportunity from the attack, you know, with Obsidian digging into you, not doing any bleed damage. Again, huge missed opportunity. Ocelot's feats make or break your game. First feat is noticeably one of the best feats in the game, and it's banned in comp play because of the ability to rotate in any team fight while dead. But you're probably scratching your head because any Ocelot you've seen use this feat ends up going 3 and 13 because their ego wants to respawn on the person who just killed them just to die again and again and again. Sure, if you have the feats that debuff people that kill you and you get them really low, go for it because there's some synergy in them, but dear god, if someone has double your health, stop respawning in their goddamn face. I will say his fourth feat is just like Afeera's feats. Nobody in the game really likes getting hit by solo feats. It's kind of like solo ulting players in Marvel Rivals, so when an Ocelot goes near a ledge and you know, yeah, it's not a fun experience to get pulled off screen and just die. I will happily say that Ocelot's fashion is the worst in the entire faction. Somehow worse than Medjay's because, dude, every single piece of armor is just the same except for either feathers or for, I don't know, a different paint pattern on his chest. Ocelot's executions are a little decent. Some last a little too long in my experience, and some are arguably some of the best in the game, like Saw-level horror kills. Again, he's kind of a newer hero, so the less options he has, and still the fact that I'm considering Ocelot a new hero is baffling. Hero fights normally go to heroes favored by the community, and sadly Ocelot, his entire life, has never been favored. Overall, the fact that most of his damage relies on bashes, I still think he deserves his D tier slot. Still nowhere near day 1 Ocelot, but nevertheless. Khatun was the first time Ubisoft showed that on release they could make an enjoyable hero for the Outlanders faction, and one that also wasn't a hybrid. Now I think Khatun is fine. Her ability to now counter hyper armor, in my opinion, was not necessary, but I understand that she hard struggled against it. But Warden struggled against any hero with a dodge stance recovery or double dodge, making a matchup literal hell, but I'm fine with it because the hero does need bad matchups. That being said, the only thing I dislike about Khatun is the amount of time she takes away from you. Each pin, especially delayed, can last up to 5 seconds, and that ramps up every single pin she does, aka any deflect, full block, light parry, confirm pin. It all adds up. Khatun's feats are actually pretty nice, all focused on offense instead of defense. Playing Khatun out of Dominion feels weird because of her lack of first feat, which makes her worse outside of other game modes. Second and third feat are flawless, rewarding players for winning and playing well in their fights, and fourth feat follows the trend of feeling very personal. I mean, you know the drill. Haha, Outlanders, variant armor sets. Yeah, it's funny, but her default element is objectively the best in slot. Of course, only in front of the fish. Khatun's executions, on the other hand, show off a warrior that just wants to fucking kill you. Like, make you an example to the people around you. They aren't clean nor quick. They're brutal, sloppy, and long. Khatun, I think, still deserves the A slot for being For Honor's single enjoyable Outlander on launch and continues to be mostly enjoyable for the experience. Oh boy, I know majority of people are probably sticking to the end of this video or even just skipping to the Virtuosa part because of the hate boner going on right now. And they're still gonna want to see the hero put in D tier, but nah, that's not gonna be how this goes. Virtuosa is a hero that feels like the easiest noob stomper in the entire game now. The ability to negate pressing buttons and winning makes Hito players want to rage quit from life. Again, somewhat enjoy playing her, but as a man that cannot play a hero for long periods of time, I can't enjoy that. The last time I did that was pushing Warden to rep 90 for the world's first, and I will say that I'm never doing that again. Playing as a good Virtuosa can be frustrating, a new hero that can only be annoying when you have brain-dead teammates. Virtuosa punishes the ever-living shit out of the team that is not prepared or capable of beating them. Keeping in mind people that outright abuse the minion bug does not help the hatred boner of the hero being decently justified. Your fates only enable a annoying defensive playstyle by buffering your healing and damage, making players believe her damage is way higher than normal. The amount of people that think Virtuosa is capable of 40 damage heavies is crazy, because unless she hits you with third feet and you died at your keyboard because you did not block a whole second heavy attack, it's not on the hero, it's kind of on you. Fourth feet on the other hand is dumb. I've never been in favor of map-wide feeds because positioning and actual smart use goes out the window. Look at health bar of team, hit number 4 on keyboard, congrats, you supported the entire team. Virtuosa for once has fashion insanely well made. The amount of options are fantastic from rep 1 all the way to rep 8. There's something for everyone. As I said before, you got the Knight Armor, the 3 Musketeers set, the Pirate Oriented set, and so much more. There's something for everyone, and I will never deny her fashion choices are top notch of the faction. Virtuosa's executions on the other hand just don't do it for me. I don't know if it's the sound effects or the weapon or just how she kills people, but I don't know. They feel boring and I'm just spamming the fastest one for a quick heal. For me, they're lackluster and I cannot look at any of them and go, cinema. She's not getting a D tier from me. Honestly, I'm putting her in C tier if I have a team of people that I can trust and not be drooling morons. But in the solo queue tier list, she's getting the D tier all day. And that's been the final and longest video I think I've ever worked on for the tier list. Because, I mean, you saw the post, right? I'm taking a break and going until I can make up new video ideas. Because I'll die before I upload pure gameplay. As always, love you guys. Have a good day.